been expecting you.
What is up, everybody? Josh here with Lorgasm, and today let's talk about WandaVision Episode 8. This episode starts off at one of the earliest points we've actually seen in the MCU. I think the earliest point was in the beginning of Thor: The Dark World, but this one actually takes place in 1693 Salem, Massachusetts, where we see Agatha being dragged through the woods and being bound by a spell to a pole, where she is questioned by the high priestess of her coven, who also happens to be her mother. And she questions her on why she broke their coven's rules by gaining power, like dark power. And Agatha says she didn't break the rules, she just bent them to her will. Then all the witches started chanting and trying to bind her, and they were shooting out like blue spells, and then her purple spell was overtaking their spell and like draining all their magic from them. And then they died. And then her mom started chanting too. And then she did the exact same thing to her mom. But when her mom was doing it, she had like a blue crown pop up, and that's kind of significant, maybe, to what happens later in this episode. It kind of looks like the red one that Wanda wears with her Sokovian fortune teller outfit.
I'm a Sokovian fortune teller.
But it's also more like magic-y or spelly. Then after that, after Agatha drains her mom's magic and she dies, she walks over and takes the brooch that we always see her with, and then she just takes off. We then cut back to modern day, where Agatha is talking to Senior Scratchy, her little rabbit, and Wanda is just standing there confused. Wanda tries to get control of Agatha's thoughts, but
my thoughts are not available to you, Toots. They never ever were.
Wanda tries to attack Agatha, but her powers won't work because Agatha set up some magic ruins up on the ceiling to make it to where only Agatha's power works within this little temple. Agatha then binds Wanda and then asks her how she doesn't even know the fundamentals of magic, and then goes through and shows each kind, like mind control or transmutation and stuff like that. And then she asks Wanda who she really is, because she has all this power, but it seems like she doesn't have a coven or anything, and she really wants to know why Wanda is so powerful. She says she's been waiting this whole time to try to get Wanda to reveal herself, and she almost got close with the fake Pietro, and she calls him Fietro, which it now makes sense that she actually killed Sparky to see if Wanda can actually bring him back to life, since she brought Vision to life, but we see more of that later. She said she had Pietro there using a crystalline possession. I looked it up and there's nothing you can find on the internet about it, just a bunch of articles about this episode. But crystalline or crystalline means something that's made out of crystal and clear, and possession, so maybe she was able to possess this person and just use them as like a crystal ball. Like she was able to see through their eyes and hear through their ears, because she said that he was her eyes and ears.
You scared? He's her uncle. Why would I be scared? Mom and Dad have been not fighting, just different.
And she says she didn't use necromancy because the real Pietro's body was on another continent and full of holes.
You didn't see that coming.
She also said that she could sense Westview because Wanda set off 1,000 different spells at the exact same time. And that's when she shows up in the Agatha All Along theme that we saw in the last episode. She also said that most of these spells take years to learn, and it's really crazy how Wanda's able to do this, but we know it's because of the Infinity Stone. She questions Wanda how she's able to control everything, but Wanda says she doesn't know, so Agatha takes a piece of Wanda's hair and says a chant over it, and then a door appears into Wanda's memories, and she lets Wanda free, but forces her to walk into the memories with her. When they walk in, we see this rundown house that Wanda and Pietro grew up in as kids, and they're getting ready to have family movie night with their parents. Her dad was not Michael Fassbender or Ian McKellen, So no Magneto connection right now, but these could just be foster parents like they were in the comic books. They just use different names than in the comic books. Agatha tells Wanda to go ahead, and then she literally like relives the memory. Like she becomes her younger self and relives the memory, and she picks out the Dick Van Dyke Show to watch with her family. And then while they're watching, the house actually blows up.
You didn't see that coming.
So her parents die, and then we see the Stark missile that her and Pietro talked about in Age of Ultron.
We're 10 years old, having dinner, the four of us. When the first shell hits 2 floors below, it makes a hole in the floor. It's big. Our parents go in, the whole building starts coming apart. I grab her, roll under the bed. And the second shell hits, but it doesn't go off. It sits there in the rubble, 3 feet from our faces. And on the side of the shell is painted one word. Stark.
And this is really interesting because it shows that Wanda reaches for the missile and uses a probability hex as a little girl, not even knowing that she has magic, so that way it didn't blow up and kill her and Pietro. So she has been a mutant all along, and she didn't get her powers just from the Infinity Stone. Wanda doesn't really think that she did anything. She says no, it's just a dud. What's interesting though is when she went to reach for it, Agatha pulled her out of the memory. I think because she's actually, if she would have done a hex again as who she is now, she actually could have affected the timeline by changing that. Because she's a Nexus being, she's able to just do that. She says that they were trapped in there for 2 days, and Agatha says they have to dig deeper because that's not what she wants to know. And then a door appears with a Hydra symbol on it, and Wanda says she doesn't want to go back there, but Agatha says that they have to. Here we see Wanda in the test facility where Loki's staff is, and we know that Loki's staff actually has the Mind Stone in it.
Typical of humans. They scratch the surface and never think to look within.
But it has like a shell over it. One of the agents tells her to go touch the stone, and then the other agent says to him, like, I don't know why we're doing this, everyone who touches it dies. But then she starts to reach out, and the stone floats towards her, and then the blue shell of it breaks apart, and we see the Mind Stone, and she just gets this big yellow flash of light, and she looks up and then sees herself as the Scarlet Witch. Passes out. So the Hydra agents go in there and check on her. They're watching on playback, and it just shows her standing there and then falling down. It doesn't even show her reaching out. It doesn't show anything with the Mind Stone or nothing. Agatha then tries to figure out like what's going on, saying that Wanda's powers got amped by the Infinity Stone, where if it didn't, her powers would have just went away because she was a witch to begin with. She just didn't know how to use the magic, so the Infinity Stone just amped it up like tenfold. She said that she needs more information to figure everything out, and they walk through another door, and this one leads into the Avengers compound after Age of Ultron, and Wanda's sitting there grieving, watching Malcolm in the Middle, because this is right after Pietro dies.
You didn't see that coming.
And Vision comes in and comforts her. I guess it just, instead of showing what actually happened, because we've already seen it in Age of Ultron, instead we're just gonna go and have like a heart-to-heart with Vision, which actually shows a good connection between them.
But what is grief? If not love, persevering.
I guess we don't need to, they didn't want to pay Aaron Taylor Johnson again, and we don't need to see it again because we've already seen it. Agatha then brings up about Wanda's parents dying, brother died, Vision's died. What happened next? What got her to the point where she created the hex? And then Wanda realizes like, oh, I wanted Vision back. And the next thing you know, a sword facility door opens, and it's Sword HQ. and Wanda walks in and talks to the front desk about getting Vision back, and she just won't leave. And then Hayward says, all right, let her in. So she goes to Hayward's office, and he shows her Vision's dead body just on a bunch of tables being taken apart and stuff, and she's upset. And then she just wants to bury him, and Hayward says, well, we're not gonna just give him to you because you could just bring him back to life. She's like, I can't do that. And he's like, well, we're not just gonna let you bury $3 billion of vibranium into the ground. She gets upset and she breaks the glass like we saw in the security footage.
Recently, it was the top secret location of the Vision's corpse. Nine days ago, Maximoff stormed our facility, stole the Vision's body, and resurrected him.
And then Hayward tells his soldiers there not to attack her, and she touches Vision's head and says, oh, I can't feel you anymore. And then this is where everyone expected her to just take his body, but actually she just left. She didn't take his body. So something's really fishy about the footage he showed. He definitely cut it up to make it look like he stole the body and like have the excuse for being there to get his body back. She walks to her car and she looks down at an envelope that's already open. Nobody left it there for her. She clearly brought it with her, and in it is a deed to a property in Westview. So she drives to Westview and it looks super run down. I don't know if it was bad before, but the snap definitely did not do any good for this city. She makes it to the plot of land, and it looks like either Vision was beginning to build a house there, or there used to be a house there that was tore down. I think he was getting ready to build a house there for them. She walks to the middle of it, and she starts crying because she's so upset, and then because of the grief, her powers just take over, and then it builds a house. And then after it's done building the house, the hex just expands over the whole city. And then right after that, her powers work even more because she wants Vision back. So she actually creates Vision with her powers. And the very last thing on Vision to appear is the Infinity Stone, and it was using a yellow magic to create the Infinity Stone. So I think she actually brought the Infinity Stone back with her powers while making Vision. So as of right now, there's technically two Visions. There's the dead one, and there's the one we've been watching. She then turns black and white, and she kisses Vision. Right after that, she appears behind the couch as herself again, and it turns into a TV studio. And Agatha's sitting up where the audience would normally be sitting. She starts clapping, saying, I know what you are now, and then disappears. Wanda stands there confused, and then she starts to hear her boys like crying for help, and she runs out the door and sees Agatha with a magic thread around their necks and says, I know who you are, and you're dangerous. You're not even supposed to be real. You're supposed to be a myth, a being capable of spontaneous creation, or like what I like to call is reality warping. She's a reality warping character. She says Wanda has chaos magic, and that would make her the Scarlet Witch.
Does Maximoff have an alias?
No, sir.
No funny nickname?
Not a one.
That makes you the Scarlet Witch.
Which happens to be the first time she's ever called that in this universe, which is super cool. She finally has a superhero name. And then right after that, the credits roll. But you already know we got another after credit scene. And this one's cool. It cuts to Hayward and his team, and they say they're ready. And he says finally. They go to power up Project Cataract, and we see an all-white version of Vision powering up. And in real life, if you get a cataract, your eye actually starts to get a white film over it. Well, some people, not all people. I actually have a cataract. My eyes look normal. But you start to lose vision, and you get a white, like, film over your eye. That was like a really clever name for them to come up with. And Hayward says they used like every type of energy they could find to try to power him up, and nothing was working. And then we see that they actually used the drone that was imbued with Wanda's magic, and they used her magic out of it to power him up. And just them creating him, or like bringing him back, is definitely 100% against the Sokovia Accords. Because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they make the life model decoys, or LMDs, and those are against the Sokovia Accords.
Ada's an android.
That totally goes against the Sokovia Accords. Doesn't anyone remember Ultron?
This is just like it. They're not supposed to make sentient weapons at all, even though Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't canon, but whatever. I count it. So this episode was really dope. I really enjoyed it. I like seeing Agatha go through all Wanda's memories. I thought it was cool seeing Wanda's parents die. Everything is just connecting perfectly, and I can't wait for this last episode and how crazy it's gonna be. I'm hoping for Vision on Vision fighting. I'm hoping Wanda has to kill Vision again. I want Monica possessed fighting Wanda or something. I just want all out battle. I want to know how Doctor Strange is supposed to fit into this. I want to know if Nightmare or Mephisto's coming. There's so much possibilities, so I cannot wait. This episode is a 9.9 out of 10 in my opinion. It was just awesome. I love witches in the MCU. I love the fact that Agatha is like, I think she wants to bring somebody to life, and that's why she's so interested in the fact that Wanda can bring people back to life or just create things. And I think she wants Wanda's powers. I really do. I know a lot of people are thinking that like her mom, the high priestess of that coven, was a like indigo witch or something like that, but I don't think so, because if she thinks the Scarlet Witch is a myth, why would her mom be like another one of these witches that are like myths, and then she's just like confused about Wanda? That doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, so 9.9. The next episode's definitely gonna be a 10. I can already tell. But that's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.